Well, hello there, City Skylines enthusiasts, and welcome back to Flyvox Talks Cities, the podcast based around our beloved city building simulation, City Skylines. My name is Flyvox. I'm your host, but I'm not alone. With me is the one and only Toadie. Hi, Toadie. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. Vox.
Please tell us a few words about yourself.
My name's Toadie. I am Canadian. I do a lot of management and strategy games on YouTube. I primarily focus on cities, and on Twitch, I dabble in whatever feels good at the time. And I just like to have fun and make sure that games are accessible for everyone.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's jump right in. So, obviously, first of all, I want to hear your opinion on the bomb that shook the City Skylines world, that took everyone by storm, basically. The announcement of City Skylines 2 coming out this year, sometime this year. How did you experience the trailer for Cities 2, and how did you feel while you were watching it?
Okay, so hear me out. I do think I'm generally as hyped for CS2 as everybody else is, but like I don't think I can say that that's because of the trailer itself that we've seen. Like it announced the game, and that's so rad, but it gave us no other information, and I'm really desperately trying not to overanalyze it. Um, so I think to like actually answer your question, I think I just watched it on my own in my office. I was, of course, stoked to see it and to finally have confirmation that we are getting a sequel and kind of like, I guess, like a little bit of job security, so to speak, in like cultivating this community around the game that we love. And I just don't think I'm going to read a lot else into the actual trailer itself yet.
Fair, 100%. And it wasn't actual gameplay footage as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd for trailer, a sucker for trailers, right?
Yes.
The same with movies. So I did over analyzing. I broke the trailer down, I think, 3 times,
Yeah, it was
uh,
awesome.
just because I try to interpret into these trailers as much as possible to figure out every little detail, which
Absolutely.
probably is all wrong because, well, I mean, we'll see what happens when the game finally drops. But I'm super hyped as
Yeah,
well, of course.
absolutely.
So what do you think the game is going to be like? Do you have any ideas, anything that's on your mind in terms of like features or gameplay maybe?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Who knows, right? I guess because they did say the words, they used the words somewhere, the most realistic city builder ever, or something like that, right? So I'm gonna guess that they're gonna be going for a bit more realism rather than like the cartoonish vibe of the first game, and that's neat. But I feel like other than that, all we know is that it'll have seasons. Um, what I can say, I think, is that I really trust Colossal Order's ability to build a game with like broad appeal, which means something that beginners and experts alike can enjoy, which is something that I really love about the first game. And it only makes business sense to kind of keep that sort of appeal going into a sequel. They want to attract new players, but they also want to keep us veterans interested. So I'm going to guess with, a lot of oomph that there's going to be a lot of different ways to enjoy playing the new game. I think is the only thing that I can currently say that I think will actually happen.
And that sounds actually pretty good. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with you 100% on that. Actually, that's pretty good take actually to appeal to a new audience, but also the veterans. Yeah, you don't want to like, how do I say, like you want to not alienate them from the game,
Mhm.
and make it like completely something that goes so far off, if you will.
Yeah.
But also, like for me, I'm excited at maybe the possibility of it being something completely different. Because I believe I read that on their Twitter account, on the City Skylines Twitter account, where they do these FAQs, and
Mhm.
a user asked, uh, I can't remember the question. I should have prepped it better, but it was something in the lines of, will it just be like a City Skylines 1.5, like a remastered type deal?
Yeah.
And the response was, this will be a completely different game. So I'm not really sure, but I'm heckin' excited for it. So
That's so funny. I
We'll see.
didn't see that answer, and actually that makes me a little nervous, but
Kind of
we'll
does.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, indeed. Nervous, but also in a good way.
Yeah, for
We'll see.
sure.
We'll see.
Totally.
We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. I'm just excited. What would be some things that you would want 100% implemented in the game? For instance, maybe some mods or something that would be vanilla then?
I'm easy to please, at least with cities, Skyline stuff. Can I say that I 100% want the game to be fun for us filthy vanilla casuals still? Um, but I think if I had to choose actual features, like choosing actual features that I 100% want into the game, I would really love a planning tool. I can think of a few people, myself included, that could probably spend dozens, maybe like hundreds of hours just with a planning tool, planning out where the roads are going to go, where which ploppables are going to go, which growables, that sort of thing. Um, that would be so cool. Uh, then I think from there, the one thing I've always talked about is like modular roads kind of thing. I want to be able to say that I want a 4-lane road. I want it to have sidewalks. I want it to have a tram down the middle, and just kind of like pick your parts with the roads. And they could have pre-built options, I think, as well. I'm sure they could find a balance there, but modular roads would be really rad. That's kind of it. Like maybe I've heard people talk about procedurally generated buildings, and I like that idea as long as it doesn't get too crazy. Because I do like now that we have all these CCPs in the first game, having an area be European suburbia and having them kind of like mesh well with themselves is really nice. So I think my two would be the planning features and the modular roads.
That sounds really interesting because like the modular roads would be really amazing, I think. Like being
Yeah.
able to have like a box of tools to choose from, or like, I want sidewalks, or I want one large sidewalk, one smaller
Mhm.
sidewalk, some trees on that side, maybe some bollards on this side,
Yes.
something
Oh
like
yeah.
that. And you could mix and match. That sounds
Yep.
amazing. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, so like from the trailer, but that's me. From the scenes that were shown, I thought, maybe it's even possible that, because actually in the scene in the trailer where the seasons were visible, where it
Mhm.
changed the construction in the background, it kind of like it stopped and then it continued. So my thought was
Mhm.
maybe
Cool.
it's something you need to provide some raw materials in order for your buildings to get built
Ooh.
properly. However, on a big scale, that
Yeah.
if does that make sense? Because it would take a long time for a building to spawn, to grow, to get constructed. If you need the proper industry, for instance, to have certain types
Mhm.
of buildings in your city and provide them with the raw materials to, get constructed, or maybe to level up. Maybe to level up,
Yeah.
you need certain raw materials. And that again comes back to your good traffic layout. How fast can the trucks reach the buildings, the construction
Yeah.
sites, in order to help the buildings level up with the raw materials, or something like that? But it's
That is
it's
really cool.
it's very interesting to speculate. But I love the idea of modular roads. That sounds
Yeah.
really amazing. That would be really really cool. But I
I like
guess
your idea.
thanks. It's just something like a theory,
Mhm.
it's from one construction image that just kind of halted and then it just
Yes.
continued. So
Yes.
maybe something like that. But for
Yeah.
now, we're gonna stick to Cities One. So Toadie, how did you find City Skylines, and is there anyone that inspired you to get the game? Maybe.
So, in prep for speaking to you about this, I actually had to like do some digging. I will preface maybe a lot of this chat with the fact that my memory is very poor. So I've done some digging on myself. But my spouse actually got Cities first, and he got it in April of 2017, and he told me then that I would love it, and I totally dismissed him. I was like, "No, that's weird. You have fun with that." um, it had been on my radar for a little bit because Biffa, who until then I was watching him for his Minecraft content, and then somebody else from his same server, Asuma, they both had done a few videos on cities, and I enjoyed watching them play it. And I had never played a city builder before, so I just had no concept of even crossing my mind to play it. The closest thing I'd ever had to playing a city builder was like Red Alert, Command and Conquer, and Age of Empires. And I should have known because in those games, the most fun I ever had was just building big sprawling bases and never attacking the enemy. So a year and a bit later, in July 2018, I actually got the game on Steam. I think I had maybe tried it on hubby's computer before then. And I just don't remember what exactly the push was for me to get it, but I do know that as soon as I installed it and started playing it, like hundreds of hours went by immediately. Like it was just an immediate hook.
It has the game has that effect 100%.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Toadie, what was your first playing experience like? And is there anything special that you remember from your first time playing City Skylines?
So, remember how just moments ago I said I have a really poor memory? I'm a little lacking in this answer. I don't remember my actual first city. I genuinely don't. It's gone. But I do think that I moved to modded fairly quickly. I think because I had watched a good amount of content on cities and mods were involved. And I have my first save. At least I think it's my first modded save still uploaded on the workshop. And, you know, when you look at the workshop, it's got that screenshot or whatever that it saved when you did it. I've looked at that and it really makes me cringe really bad. But I think like when you look back at something you've done and you're embarrassed, that shows growth or something. I do remember even in my earliest playthroughs, I loved creating like beautiful parks and forests and all the greenery and stuff right away. City building is great and all, but rocks and trees and bushes, that's where I think I've always had the most fun. Yeah, so I think my first few cities were just lots of different trees.
That's cool. I like planting the trees in the game as well. You know, trees,
Yeah.
rocks, bushes, all the stuff for detailing. So
Yes.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
So tell me, Toadie, was City Skylines actually the catalyst for you to start creating content?
No, although it was certainly a turning point with it. I started my creative career over on Beam before Mixer, before Beam was Mixer. I had jumped into streaming as part of a charity thing, fell in love with it, and then continued it. But I mostly streamed Minecraft back in the day, and I really just kind of did whatever I wanted. Then a few months later, I was trying out cities on Mixer, and Mixer now has shut down. So I immediately hopped over to Twitch that same day. And I knew that this was like my time to regroup and like take things a little bit more seriously. I had maybe been doing some really horrible City Skylines videos at that point as well, like really awful. But then I started on Twitch with cities and the community embraced me immediately and I was enthralled. And I would say that that first week or so on Twitch with City Skylines is where the history started.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know the story behind Mixer and what happened. So
Mhm.
yeah, for everyone that created content or that live streamed over there, you know, real bummer and glad
Yeah.
that you found this amazing home over on Twitch. So
Yeah.
that's really, really cool. Yeah. So and it was the turning point with City Skylines. So basically a fresh start, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I do really consider that when I started this as a career, I would say. Before that, I was just having fun being a goober over on Beam.
What is something that you enjoy most about the game?
There's a million answers to that, right? I would say, actually touching on that, the vast amounts of diversity that you can do. Vanilla, modded, all the DLCs, sandbox mode, milestone mode, speedrunning, building for beauty, building for realism, traffic managing, self-imposed challenges, playing to relax, playing to make a perfect city. Like it's never ending. And I think that is like when you ask someone how long they've been playing City Skylines, it is not uncommon to hear a 4-digit number. And I think that's why, right? If you're bored of playing modded, you boot up vanilla. If you're done with traffic being a focus, you try out a speedrun. And I think that kind of harkens back to a little bit earlier when I was saying, like, I trust Colossal Order to bring like a broad appeal And I think that's what I like most about the game is there's just so much for so many different people and so much for one person when you do play it for thousands of hours. You can just keep playing it for thousands of hours.
Yeah, 100%. Like some hours that you hear are
Yeah.
what people accumulated over time.
Yeah.
It's really great. I feel really bad every time because I'm not even in four digits on
Oh,
my main account. I'm not. I'm in three digits.
wow.
But since I played on console for 2 years,
True.
if we
Yes.
count that, I get the four digits, I think, pretty
Totally.
easily. So for myself, I count my console gaming days as my vanilla training,
Yeah.
done everything in vanilla, know the game in vanilla, and then hopped over to modded gameplay, uh, and then everything went from there. So yeah.
Did you do modded pretty much immediately on PC?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the first I got everything squared away with the computer, with the piece, with the game
Yeah.
and the workshop and everything in just like a few days. And then First City on my live streams, I learned mods and I'm still learning
Nice.
mods today, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I have this like on Twitch, I usually do live over my live streams, I usually do modded city,
Yeah.
and on YouTube, if I do let's play or tutorials, I usually do vanilla stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, for live streams with the interaction with chat is super cool because there's so many great people that watch and so many great players that watch me and they can give me so many good tips, and it's just like
Yes.
I always blame my console days that I'm still in my vanilla mindset, right?
Yeah.
So I try to do the most difficult things on PC in vanilla until I see a
Right.
chat message. You have mods, you don't have to do all of this work.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, thank
Do
you.
it.
So how do I
That's
do
fun.
this? And then so I learn on the way,
Nice.
as I go along. I still learn. So but yeah, that's because some of the mods, the variety of mods, first of all, is really really big. But
Wild.
also, yeah, some of the mods are, I think, a bit complicated to learn.
Yes.
Once you get into it, self-explanatory, and once you use them a couple of times, not a problem. But
Mhm.
first, there's some features that I didn't discover until like months later, years later, even in
Yeah.
some mods. So that's really kind of cool. Yeah. You just mentioned speed running. It's very interesting. I did speed
Mhm.
runs too on City
Yeah,
Skylines.
you did.
Not very fast,
You
but
did
I think
so
I
well.
like twice. And I just wanted to touch on that real quickly because you're on speedrun.com. You're actually a moderator in the City Skylines
Yeah.
game category, which is really really cool. And so you just started speedrunning out of curiosity of the game, or did you just, like, as you said, oh, I'm done with traffic, I'm bored with mods, nah, let's see how fast we can do this.
I think it happened because nowadays, if I'm consuming content, like for pure joy, I'm just gonna sit down and watch some YouTube. I'm watching speedrunning generally, or really weird challenges like the A button press challenge in Super Mario 64. So I just love it. I just love speedrunning stuff. And so I had thought about what could I possibly speedrun, and it was just kind of like on my mind. And then I either watched Too Legit or I saw a tweet of his or something, and he was the speedrunner before I was. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go beat Too Legit, which I haven't done yet. Um, but yeah, just with speedrunning being like my most preferred form of content to consume, and then City Skylines being my game of choice, they just meshed very well together.
Super cool. Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I used to, whenever I bring up speedrunning in City Skylines, if it's in a live stream or in a comment on a YouTube video, and you
Mhm.
instantly get asked like, how do you speedrun City Skylines, right? Like lots of
Yeah.
people don't know. There's like you just go on a map and go through the milestones as fast
Yeah.
as you possibly can.
They
And
real
when you
fast.
yeah, and oh my God, some of the times,
Yeah.
in preparation to do my own speed run, I watched lots of those videos that are on
Yeah.
there, and wow, the strats are really
Yeah.
cool, insane, and
Yeah.
you learn a lot about that,
Yeah.
about the speed running City Skylines. But honestly, it's so much fun. It's very
Yes.
it's very stressful, but
Yes.
but that's typically speedrunning. I did
Yeah.
speedrun a Mario a ROM hack before, so it's basically when
Nice.
you alter the Mario game and create a completely new one, right? So and that is it's really stressful. Speedruns are
Mhm.
super stressful, right?
Yeah. I
But
think if I were gonna, like, jump out of my cities, I would do some Pokemon ROM hacks for sure.
ooh,
Some randomizers. It's
nice.
so fun. Anyway, sorry, off topic, I guess.
No, please. I love that. We can go off
Yeah.
topic all day. That's okay. Well, not maybe not all day, but off topic is very much it's okay. So yeah, but the speedrun City Skylines is just it's also just super fun for me. Like
Yes.
it's really
Yeah.
really fun. And I wish I had more time to prep
Yes.
because I submitted a time on speedrun.com and I think like the very next day, I did another practice run. I did record it, I think, but I shaved like 8 minutes off of my time. It was still
That's
like, it
big.
was yeah, it was still like fourth place. Like it didn't change
Yeah.
anything about my place, but like on the leaderboard. But just by going over, okay, what did I do? Where can I save time? And it was
Yep.
like, was it 6 or 8 minutes, something like that? But I was like, wow,
Cool.
okay,
Yeah.
so if you really like dig into it a little bit, you can really improve. Like the
Yeah.
times, you can really improve the times and reach those last milestones, especially with some of the tips like from yourself, speedrunner, and they just really help to improve.
Mhm.
So it's really really fun. I can recommend it. Anyone that plays the game has not tried speedrunning it.
Do it.
It's fun.
It's
It's
so
it's
fun.
really really fun.
Yeah.
Speedrun.com. Look for City Skylines, and then just go crazy, read
Yeah.
through
Go ham.
everything, and it's super super fun. Okay, Toadie, how do you go about building a new city? Like what goes through your mind? Because there's players that do a ton of planning, that plan out every little
Mhm.
detail, and then there's players like me who just open a map because it looks fun and pretty and just
Yeah.
wing it. What type of
Yeah.
player are you?
That's awesome. I think I'm envious of you, being a total winger. Sure. Um, I would say I think my answer varies a little bit modded to vanilla. I really love to plan. I'm a big planner all the time, but I only have like so much personal bandwidth, I think I would say, to do it with. So with a modded playthrough, usually that bandwidth is spent getting a mod list together and getting an assets list together in the workshop. And then probably the most I would do other than that is take a screenshot of the map top down, chuck it in MS Paint, and like just do some really basic labels of like what I would like to build where. But I'll mostly wing it with modded because there's so much grace for changing up mistakes and restructuring plans and all that sort of thing. Um, vanilla, I've gotten into like a pretty kind of a rhythm with vanilla now. I will plan out which tiles I'm going to purchase, and then I bring a screenshot of those tiles into MS Paint. I love MS Paint. And I draw like color coded outlines around where I want to put the main DLCs. So, like industries, park life, campus, maybe an airport if I'm going to do an airport, that kind of thing. I also keep a tree palette plunked down somewhere so that I can reference which greenery I'm going to use as the main bits for the build. And then usually around the time that I unlock high density is usually when the city's big enough that I'll start to consider transit, like mass transit. And so I'll zoom out again. Sometimes I'll bring it into MS Paint and plan it, but mostly I'll just like zoom out and just sit down and focus for a second and plan out where my transit's going to go. Those are kind of the main things I plan.
That's good. And I think that's really important because, like I said, you
Mhm.
might be envious of the winging start, but, first issue comes up when you unlock the trains. And I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, oh, cool. Their train station goes here. Looks super nice. Very awesome. Perfect. Now, rails. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
plan for any space. I got to redo, like, yeah, just
Yeah.
go all the way. And just like, okay. Or you do some, like, heavy urban renewal, but that's like
Yeah.
kind of my big thing that I need to improve on. is the planning part of starting a new city, at least to an
Mhm.
extent. And I've heard before what you're doing, like throwing a screenshot in MS Paint and drawing out areas and drawing
Mhm.
lines, or just like, okay, airport, campus,
Yeah.
at least have a rough sketch, a rough idea. That goes a
Yeah.
long way, because
Yeah.
I think Teddy said it in one of the previous episodes. Teddy Radko, in one of the previous
Yeah.
episodes, he said, like, it's easier to redo a picture than to redo a city, or like
Yeah.
to change an image than to change a city, right? So do that. I think that's a really good tip. Like, draw out your
Mhm.
areas sort of rough, right? I mean, you can always
Yeah.
change it as you go along. If you feel like you build a city and you feel like, nah, the initial plan, maybe it doesn't work, it should be on the other side. That's the beauty of it, right? It's
Mhm.
you can change it. It's yours. Just go crazy, and veer off that plan if needed, right? So
Yes.
it doesn't have to be set in stone, but I guess it really does help, and I need to start doing that.
In that case, I will start winging it in your honor, in your place.
Thanks.
That would be very ungraceful.
It's also kind of difficult. As I
Yeah,
said,
totally.
problems arise then,
Yeah.
later on. But yeah, no, it's just something that I also have to improve on my behalf.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get like a planning feature in cities too, right? And then, you can choose to, start from scratch or start with a plan, and maybe you
Yeah.
can get a view of the map, or who
Oh, yeah.
knows? That would
Yeah.
be super cool.
Yes.
But again, we'll see. All right, so we talked about mods and vanilla. Which do you prefer, modded gameplay or vanilla gameplay? And how about your top 5 mods of all time, which is not easy for everyone to answer?
No, that's the impossible question.
Why
Um,
5?
I say earlier in my city's life, I think I would have enthusiastically said modded was my preference. But for the last long while, and I think through to the end of Cities 1's life, I'm head over heels with vanilla City Skylines. And this kind of makes sense for me. I'm actually typically a vanilla video game player. Cities was always the exception for me. So I like vanilla Minecraft, vanilla RimWorld, vanilla Stardew. It's all fantastic. I really enjoy the creativity that having a restriction gives you, I think. Trying to accomplish like precise and aesthetic placement without move it, or a solid traffic flow without TMPE, all of those challenges really appeal to me. And then, if I'm being honest with you, deep cut Toadie for a second, playing modded nowadays makes me feel like I'm poor at the game. I can't help but compare myself to, if I'm playing modded, I can't help but compare myself and my cities to the cities of people like Canadian Moose or Few Candy. And then when I do, I realize that my skill is very lacking, in my opinion. But then I built something pretty spectacular in vanilla, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So it's really all about my pride. But that being said, top 5 mods. I'm gonna try to tell you 5 mods that maybe not everybody says, but I do also genuinely mean these. You'll probably sympathize with this, Fly. Cinematic camera extended. I really love for funky camera shenanigans during videos. It just provides so much more, I think. If I'm allowed to include the movement modules with procedural objects, then totally procedural objects. Being able to make things like rotate and move in my city, like you take the Star Destroyer and you just have it move into your city. So cool.
Amazing.
So cool. I would say Twitch Citizens is a really straightforward mod that just grabs your Twitch chat and names citizens in your game after your Twitch chat. And that's like such an easy interactivity with the community. I love that. I love just randomly clicking on a person and it's like, oh, that's Flyvox. Cool. Oh, that guy's name is Teddy. Neat. I would say extra landscaping tools for its water placement ability. Being able to make your own lakes without all of the fuss that entails in vanilla, like lakes and rivers and all that sort of thing. It just, it appeals to the greenery side of me. Resize it. is really simple, and it just gives you another line or 5 in your menu GUI at the bottom. And I know that everybody nowadays is playing with yet another toolbar, but I just love how simple resize it is. You just install it and it works, and you just click up or down. It's so simple, and I really like that.
That sounds pretty good. I
Yeah.
think I've heard of Resize It before, but I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen it. I agree with you on the Twitch Citizen. Yeah, Twitch
Yeah.
Citizen. I have that one too, or had that
It's really
one.
fun, eh?
It's really really cool. Yeah, click on
Mhm.
somebody. "Hey, look, that's you. Like
Mhm.
we just spoke, and it's you. You're in the
Yeah.
game." And people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, how am I in the game?" It's really cool. It's very interactive. It's super great. I yeah, also want to bounce off of something you said earlier
Mm.
about you and you thinking about your skills and lacking skills in city building when it
Mm.
comes to comparing, because I always compare, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
love to watch this German city builder Imperatur. You've probably
Yes.
know, and
Oh, yes.
his vanilla stuff is like, I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm
Yeah.
so bad at the game, when I see the like his Dream Bay city, and
Mhm.
it's just like, wow. First of all, the creativity, but then also how to, again, use the restrictions that vanilla
Mhm.
brings and
Yeah.
creating these thriving metropolis cities, these mega cities with
Yeah.
amazing waterfronts and super cool like interchanges inside the city core. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I can't even do that with mods. Like, wow, right? So I definitely feel you on that one. But we just have to stop comparing to other cities, right? But
Preach.
I understand that 100%. And there's a lot
Mhm.
of great vanilla players out there. And yeah, it is a tough question for sure. I think I couldn't, if I'd have to answer it, I think I would go with like an ultra lightly modded, like
Mm,
not
fair, yeah.
100% vanilla, but not extremely, all of the mods on the workshop or something like that. I can't,
Yeah.
so maybe ultra lightly modded.
Yeah.
I also definitely feel you on the cinematic camera mod.
Yeah, right? It's a good
It's
one.
yes, a game
Thank you, mod
changer.
makers.
Game
Yeah.
changer in terms of creating content,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So Toadie, tell me, where did you or where do you get inspired from? Other builders or real life, maybe?
Definitely not real life. Again, bringing up my pride. I think I would really let myself down if I tried to recreate a real life place and I did it poorly. So I typically stay away from that. I think the only time that I've done that has been like little 30-minute challenges sort of things. And then if it doesn't turn out well, I can just say, "Oh, I only had 30 minutes, so it's that fault, not a lack of my skill." But where I get my inspiration, every now and then I'll see like a screenshot someone has put in my Discord with a really neat idea, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna yoink that idea and like twist it. But usually there's just like one main thing that pops into my head, like using the metro train monorail tram hub, that monster hub, or building on a map that has like a desert beside lush greenery, or having the logging industry be down a river, like alongside a river, because that's how logs got transported back in the day. So I'll just have like this one concept. And then as I start my planning phase, I guess, the city will evolve around that concept as I plan it.
Cool. That's cool. Like I personally, I also do not look at real life at
Hmm.
all. I tried it before, Google Maps and seeing, okay, what can I do like with these certain road layouts, mostly
Yeah.
for road layouts,
Yeah.
and I never really go and look for these placements. I don't have these cool ideas like what you said with the logging near the river. Maybe that's how they makes total sense now. Of course, they used to
Yeah.
transport that through the water, right? Because
Yeah.
you just put in the water and then you down the river you take it out,
Yeah.
right? So that makes total sense. I don't think I would ever imagine that idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I just take inspiration from other builders because
Yeah.
I'm not just a player, I also love to watch
Mhm.
City Skylines content, right? Because I just love the game so much, and I like to see
Yeah.
the creativity of other players, if it's vanilla or modded, especially vanilla, but
Yeah.
also modded is very interesting for me to watch as well. I just wish I had more time to watch even more amazing creators,
Yes.
because that's something, it's like, oh my
That's
God, it's
it.
so like, you feel bad sometimes, right? Because like, I want to watch more, but I can't. It's like time,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
time, right? So,
Time
but
is
yeah,
an illusion.
100%.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. That's what it is. So, Toadie, what do you think about all the additional content, the content creator packs, the DLCs that have been keeping the game interesting?
Mm.
Do you have a favorite DLC? And do you think, though, that extra content provides enough value for replayability?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for them. I remember researching for a video. I was reading comments from Colossal Order from before the game released, and their attitude was from the get-go that they want to build like a stable, solid foundation of the game and then add to it as they learned and grew with DLC, which makes sense that they were working under Paradox as well. Um, to me, like, it makes sense also, especially for a first game in the series, if they're gonna kinda be learning more as they go with it. If the base game were unreliable or buggy to all sin, I think things would be really different. But in my opinion, they have successfully delivered on that original promise of, like, the solid foundation, right? And now people can customize their own version of what a, quote, "full experience" is with cities. I also think that having the funding from the content creator packs, having some of those funds directing back to the asset creators that made them is like a super respectable way to both keep the consuming audience engaged, but also like support the workshop creators that, add so much value to your game. I think generally my outlook on the DLCs and CCPs is pretty positive. My favorite main DLC is always going to be Green Cities forever. I love the message because, like, please let's save the earth. And I love every single asset that comes with it. That high density residential, oh my goodness, it's the best residential we have in the whole game. But the unique buildings too, it's all delightful. And then my favorite content creator pack today, I'm torn between Seaside Resorts and the recent stadiums one. I think today I'm going to say Seaside Resorts because they're so. Have you seen how? Okay, there's so many of them, and they're like so small town, which is me. I'm a very small town girl, and they're so humble, and I love that. And then you asked about replayability, and I think like the really easy answer to that question is how many players, even vanilla players, do we know with thousands of hours in the game? And like that's it, right? That's replayability, I think.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
also think that, like, I'm going to start with that point as well, the replayability, because I also think that especially the content creator packs, the
Mhm.
DLCs, they do provide more options for vanilla players to
Mhm.
customize their city, to add more variety into their city. And so that, of course, again goes into the replayability, right? So
Yeah.
I know I got the base game on console in 2017. It came out in 2017 on console, and I got it. I even got the game used for
Nice.
like $20 only. So, but yeah, then okay, wait, there's extra content. Okay, what is this, right? And then okay,
Mhm.
I got that, and then I familiarized myself with the content and with the extra content. I'm like, oh wow, I got more options now. That's really cool, right?
Mhm.
And of course, I would watch along tutorials on YouTube, and and I was like, oh wow, there's like so many options. So I want that
Yeah.
too, right? And so
Yeah.
for console, I got that as well, and I was just happy about the options, more options that I had to
Yeah.
bring more variety to my city, to make my city grow even more, and
Mhm.
not be too repetitive. So
Yes.
yeah, that for me, that's
Yeah.
100%. That adds to the replayability for sure.
Mhm.
And I think my favorite DLC as of now is still I love the hotel. I love the new one. The hotels
Yeah.
retreats is. Chef's
Surprisingly
kiss.
wonderful.
It's really good. It's
Yeah.
really, really good. But
Yeah.
I still have to go with plazas and promenades because of
Nice.
the walkable pedestrian areas,
Hmm.
the wall to wall building specialization. Oh my
Hmm.
God, beautiful. Now we even have the option to choose the variation, the color variation on the houses itself.
Yeah.
But also, like, just the pedestrian roads is really,
Hmm.
really cool. I love the concept of these pedestrian areas, and
Hmm.
it's just really, really amazing. For the content creator packs, I think I do like the seaside resorts
Yes.
as well. It's really good. It's
It's so
really,
good.
really good. And I do love sports. I do love
Yeah.
sports, and the stadiums. Whew, it's
They're
just
stunning.
it's
And the
they are
parks that come with it too, like, yeah,
right.
really, really great stuff.
It's really tough to pick a favorite here, but if I'd have
Hmm.
to, it's really tough. It's really tough, really tough. But I think I'd have to go with the sports venues,
Yeah,
because it's just so
so
amazing,
good. Yeah.
and the options that you have now to customize certain areas.
Hmm.
It feels like every time something new comes out, it's always like, wow, just what I needed. It's like it's
Hmm.
so,
It's true.
and I got these
Yeah.
areas, and this fits in there perfectly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I agree. I think it's really, I don't have a problem with the extra content, 100%. And again, I don't think, you know, that when the game first came out, or a year later, let's say, maybe like for the Plaza and Promenades, for instance, like walkable cities, walkable areas, maybe it wasn't like 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, it wasn't like that big of a thing, right? But
Hmm.
as the years progressed, it turned, it
True.
got even more,
Yeah.
and so they decided to update their game, and I think
Yeah.
that's an amazing way to go about it. And so yeah, that's my opinion too. I think extra content, I love it. I'm
Yeah.
all for it.
Yeah.
And hey, if I like pay a few bucks to sponsor the company,
Mm.
like, why not? I mean, now I got early access, but before then I
Yeah.
didn't, right? So of course.
And it'd be different if they never went on sale. Like if there was all of these DLCs and CCPs and they refused to ever put them on sale, then I think, that
True.
would send a different message, right? But they are constantly on sale. Um, I've just now, you've made me think of a couple things. My hubby put the game down for, like, I don't know, it feels like well over a year now, and he's just picked it back up again to do this like build along thing that I'm doing. And so I grabbed him a couple of the DLCs on the current sale, and he's like stoked to be diving back into it. So that demonstrates their values. And then you bringing up plazas and pomegranates makes me realize that, like, as a Canadian living in, near Toronto, I have never experienced as like an area that is just for pedestrians. I've seen it when I've traveled and I've walked through them, but I don't think I ever really understood that, like, okay, cars were not allowed on this road. So the different packs bring different experiences for people. So now I would like to go travel to more places that have these walkable areas and actually pay attention to my surroundings, which you should probably do anyways, to see what that is like in real life. All because of a video game. So
Because of a
cool.
video game, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And you did some traveling, right? So you just mentioned
Mhm.
travels, and you even did some content on that.
Oh yeah.
But I saw that. That was
Yeah.
really cool. So you did visit some locations. Am I
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I learned through a Reddit post, thank you Reddit for doing all the hard work, that quite a few of the vanilla buildings in the game are based off of buildings in Vancouver. And Vancouver is where my heart is. So I flew over there and I went and videotaped them like a big old geek, and I had so much fun. And then, put it on YouTube. So it
Cool.
was fun. It was
That
way
is
fun.
really, really cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Maybe you can do more even in the
I
future.
want to.
Who knows,
Paradox,
right?
hit me up.
I saw it. I
You
s-
saw the tweet.
of course. I mean, hey,
Yeah,
they should actually,
it would be so
sponsor
great.
you.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun.
So, Toady, I myself, was never a big fan of simulation games, right? But do you have an opinion? What is it that sets City Skylines apart from other city building games?
I didn't know that about you. You're just, you slide so casually into it, but you also slide so casually into Mario Maker. Anyways, what sets Cities Skylines apart from other city building games? The fact that I've played it, which kind of sounds like a joke answer, but I actually think it says something. I'm fairly picky with which games I invest my time into, and I have never looked at a city builder before City Skylines. But obviously, there was something about it that caught my eye and convinced me to give it a go. I think it probably relates back to what I feel like I'm just bringing up over and over again, but there's something in it for everyone. Whereas when I now have tried more current city builders, anyways, they seem really focused on like specific niche things like politics in like City State 2 or resource management. They're just very honed in on having that one specific thing be what sets it apart. And they don't provide a broader appeal. And I think that broad appeal is required to get your new kids, like you or I, for example, and then turn us into total geeks about the game. I think that's the hook.
Yeah, that's pretty, like as I said, I never played a city building game or
Yeah.
simulation games for that matter. It's like
Yeah, that's wild.
I really just slid into this City Skylines. I don't know
Mhm.
if you heard the story before, but the short version is a coworker, my IRL coworker just came along one day and said, "Yo, dude, I found this amazing city builder. You got to check it out. It's really cool." I'm like, "City builder? Nah,
Yeah.
come on, man. No, right?" Check out the videos, and I'm like, oh, fine, YouTube. And I just checked it, watched I put the name in, and Imperial Jedi's video
Mm,
popped up, his like from like 7 years ago, I think his
yes.
most viewed video, how to start.
Right.
Instantly hooked,
Yeah.
like to the
Yeah.
game, to Jedi, right? So,
Yeah.
and binged all of his content, instantly ordered the game, as I said, used for the for the PlayStation 4 because I didn't really have a computer to run games. So I was like console player. I was always console player, right? I never really trusted the
Yeah, yeah.
the computers because it's like I want to just, my mindset was always like, and I'm going a bit off topic here, but my mindset
No.
was always like, I want to play a game, so I put the game in the console, I turn it on, and boom, there it is.
Yeah.
No updates or, oh, this doesn't work, this game is not compatible with your computer or whatever. Like,
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know this stuff, I
Yeah.
just want to play video games. So I was always console play. Of course, growing up with Nintendo stuff and
Mhm.
like from very young, so I was always console team console player.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how I just like coworkers just poked me and said, check it out, check it out, check it out, and I was like,
Mhm.
dude, come on, like city builder, what? No.
Does does this mean you saying put the game in the console? Like, do you have a physical copy of City Skylines?
Yes,
You need to frame that. That is
yes,
so cool.
I have it.
Oh
I
man,
have it.
envious.
I have. Hang on,
Yes.
hang on. Got it right here.
Neat.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
that's rad. I want it.
It's right here. There it
Very
is.
cool.
And it's still
Very
working.
envious.
And I actually
Yeah.
thought about, maybe as a send off or something, I want to,
Mhm.
go back in PlayStation, check out one of my
Mhm.
old saves, maybe on live stream
Yeah.
or for YouTube, whatever. Maybe YouTube because it's vanilla, and just
Yeah.
see what I did and if I can improve. It's even
Totally.
it's like, oh no, I thought it was Ultimate Edition, but it's just PlayStation 4 edition, of course.
Oh, yeah,
So yeah.
gotcha. Yeah. Very
um,
cool.
but yeah,
Love that.
really amazing.
You yeah. You also unlocked when you mentioned Jedi. I remember somebody on Mixer told me to go look for Jedi, and I looked for Jedi, and I found Flux Trance. So when you asked me earlier about, like, what brought you into the game, I actually think Flux's videos might have had something to do with it 'cause I don't know if you've seen them, but the most heavily modded, just nuts. And this guy's videos are like from, I want to say 10 years ago. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but they're from a good few years ago, but they feel like something that would be made today with 100 mods and maybe 9,000 assets. They're just incredible. So anyways, shout out to Flux. Thank you for my career.
Thank you. Yes, indeed. Really, really cool. No, I know about Flux Trends, but I'm sure I've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
But I
just
can't place
wild
it, you
things.
know. But I'll have to check out some more Flux Trends videos for sure. Okay, Toadie, do you have any memorable moments or achievements from playing the game that you would like to share?
Yeah. We've kind of already touched on it, I think, because the first thing that comes to mind is somehow convincing my community to help fill out the speedrun.com board entirely. Because I, got to say, hey, gang, there's 80 or so maps in the game, and I think it would be really neat if every single one of them had a record for reaching Megalopolopolis as fast as possible. Can we all grab one or three? And then people did. And just having people be totally on board with something that you're really geeking out about is the most incredible experience in the world. I'm kind of reliving a similar experience to that now, where the community is building on the same map as me and stuff, but we're just in like the baby phase. So I think my crowning achievement is getting the speedrun.com board all filled up. And now they've just added 5 maps, so we need to do it again, but it'll happen. Yeah, just wild. Just so cool to geek out with people who geek out about the same things as you.
That is really cool. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I do enjoy that as well. Yeah. So much fun. Yeah, 100%. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges for new or even experienced players in the game?
I would say City Skylines is the type of game where it is very easy to get overwhelmed. I think new players can be overwhelmed with all of the DLCs and the CCPs and the hundreds of tutorials and tips that people put on YouTube, those darn YouTubers. And then they try to implement them all in one go, and it's so much. And then a few dozen hours later, a few hundred hours later, whatever, they're feeling confident with all of that. And then they dive into mods. And that's a whole other can of worms. This mod is out of date. Oh, this one gives you reports. Oh, use this one to give you reports, though, not that one. Oh, this asset has too many triangles. What are triangles? You have to completely unsub from the mods. You can't just disable them. Oh, this is incompatible. Mods are a lot. And I think it is also, on the other side, very easy for experienced players to just throw information at new players really fast-pacedly, get them everything that they need to know, but then not understand that these poor new kids just need a sec to step back, take it all in, and understand what they're trying to process. So I think both sides of the spectrum can get very overwhelmed with the transfer of information, because there is an incredible amount of information to transfer.
There is indeed, yes. And it's still, what I want to bounce off of something that you just said about experienced players teaching the new players maybe a bit too fast, because what we like, starting a city, for instance, that is something I hardly think about, because I've done it so many times, right?
Muscle memory.
Yeah, exactly. Muscle memory, sort of. And then, if you just do that to get the city up and running, you can change it later, right? But then you have, like, when you create content, and especially on TikTok, for instance, where I also do like funny things from this live stream, but also some
hopping.
But
it's
also
so
some thank you, but also some educational stuff on the game, just like tutorial stuff, really short 30, 50, 60-second clips on how to do certain things. And I'm sometimes amazed about the questions that I get, not in like making fun of the person way, but in like, oh wow, okay, so some people really don't know how to make a curved road, for instance, right? Because it's, again, what you said, the game can be really overwhelming at first.
Mhm.
And that's what I think did me really good was my 2 console years, because
Yeah.
I actually got to learn the game in vanilla, right?
Yeah.
Before going into the mods, and then learning the mods, and as I said, still learning the mods.
Yeah.
Some of them I haven't even used. You mentioned procedural objects. I've heard that a
Love
bunch of
speed.
times now. I've never used it.
You can
I've
do
never
it.
used it. But yeah, that's, you see, so still learning.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to see how many new players there actually are that are just
Yeah.
discovering the game for the very first time at,
Yeah.
like, when it's about to get a predecessor, right, this year.
Mhm.
And so that's very interesting to, you create content, you create these videos, these short clips, short form content, whatever, and you go over the certain more complicated mechanics, I want to say, because you're like, nobody needs to know that you place the water intake upstream, but
Yeah.
it turns out
I do.
still a lot of players. And then
Yes.
that's like when it like a couple of months ago, it like hit me, and it was like, okay, I'll just do like very basic, I have like a quick tip series on TikTok where
Mhm.
you throw the in the playlist, and it just hit me like, okay, I need to do from scratch, like
Yeah.
start a city. Okay, what are the features? What can you do in the city? And then, like, I still get comments and like, oh, I forgot that, right? Because it's,
Yeah.
again, it's like, as an more experienced player, you're like in this, okay, you do this in your sleep, basically starting a new city.
Mhm.
It's not a problem, right? Muscle memory, as you said, you've done it so many
Mhm.
times, and then you kind of forget to go into more detail on the more basic things, right? But it's
And
still very
yeah,
much very present for a lot of players, a lot of new
for sure.
players. They're just started. They're just starting now. I got questions about how can I subscribe to mods, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's still like, it's very very present, very very dominant still, that there's an influx in new players still to this
Yeah.
day, which I think is really cool. It's really really
Yeah.
cool, I think. So
Yeah.
that's something to think about, which I didn't until I got a bunch of comments that were like, okay, but how do I do that? Like, for instance, how do I curve a road? How did you do the bridge? How did you do
Yeah.
that? How did you raise up the road? Right? And I'm like, I never thought about mentioning it when I
Mhm.
recorded something and just elevated the road, and, all
And I feel
right.
like those kind of things are also the kind of thing that could potentially turn a new player away if they get too frustrated not learning how to do it. Like imagine playing cities, never being able to figure out how to elevate a road.
Yeah.
You're just going to stop playing, right? So unless there are people who can slow down and explain those things nice and slow and like calmly and not condescendingly, I think is really big, which I've never heard you come even close. I think it's just yeah, it's important to bring that bring that knowledge to people so that they don't turn away from the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with that. So, Toadie, can you share some of your secrets on making cities more beautiful?
No. No, I'm kidding.
Keep the secrets.
I wanna say really dramatically, those secrets die with me, but I really think there aren't any secrets. I can do my best. I think that aesthetics in cities are really subjective, right? My gut response here is to tell you or tell folks to care a little bit less about having the city be realistic, because that can bring you freedom to go a little wild. But sometimes wild turns out really fun and beautiful. But then there is a whole sect of people who will say that the realistic city is the more beautiful one. So I don't know. I would say probably two things that can help a lot. Trusting yourself in the process first. So when you place down a bush, a tree, and a rock, and it doesn't immediately look great, place down more bushes and trees and rocks and don't sweat it. And keep placing or changing or move it, mod moving, whatever the thing until it does start to look where you want it to get and you'll find a groove. You just have to not give up too soon, I think. Trust the process. And then I would say finding your personal balance between rebuilding things and demolishing, rebuilding, and demolishing and rebuilding until they look the way that you want. So finding the balance between that and then accepting when something just won't work and moving on from it. And whichever side of that or where in the spectrum you are, find that for yourself. I am personally a very big fan of demolishing entire areas because the stadium is at, you know, a 3-degree angle wrong and I want to rebuild everything. And if you find enjoyment in that as well, rad, because that brings you joy. But if that just frustrates you and makes you angry with a video game that is supposed to be fun, just maybe you can learn to be okay with it and be okay with a little bit of jank because we all need a little bit of jank in our life. And just leave it there as a learning tool for next time.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. That I'm sure that helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
100%.
I think,
yeah.
yeah. I think, yeah, just keeping in mind it's a video game and you play it for fun. You know, it's supposed to be fun.
100%. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. We cannot forget this. In all the tips and all the tips and tricks tutorials, how to, don't forget to have fun.
Yeah.
Because that's why we play a game in the first place, right? Yeah. So Toadie, you have been collaborating with Paradox Interactive to create a YouTube video on the recent hotels and retreats content.
Yes.
How was that experience? What can you share about that experience?
I mean, of course, it was great. I'm flattered that Colossal Order and Paradox Interactive deemed me up for the task, and I can only hope that I, you know, lived up to the task. I would say maybe like my favorite part of it was making a video for someone else's channel is very difficult, like incredibly so. And I am the person who loves challenges and I love things that are tough and that you get to learn from an experience and carry it forward. So I went way out of my comfort zone and learned a few things from it that I can now carry forward if there are any other opportunities in a similar frame. I can go into them with a little bit more confidence. And I think that's probably my favorite part of it.
It was really amazing. Can I just say that the videos were super awesome?
Oh,
Super,
thank
super
you.
awesome. I like them a lot. Really good
That's really kind.
explanation. It was, I thought, I loved them. I loved them. I instantly
Thanks,
clicked on it.
man.
I was like, wait, it's Toadie in the video. Like, oh my God.
That's really
I was
sweet.
stoked. It was really good. And yeah, I know how it is, you know, not to shamelessly, you know, plug
Do
myself,
it.
but like
Do it.
I had a similar situation, of course, with City Skylines TikTok when they approached me
Yeah.
to to run the official TikTok account for City Skylines for 3 months. That
So
was amazing, and I feel you on how weird it is to
yeah.
create something that is not for you, like
Yeah.
create for somebody else,
Yeah.
and having, I don't know how it was with the YouTube, but having like the freedom, like they were just like, go ahead. I'm like,
Ooh.
do
Fun.
you want the videos? Do you want, like, you know, or like, no, just keep it, you know, as per the terms and everything, you know, don't go
Amazing.
overboard with nothing, and
Yeah.
keep it family friendly and what. I'm like, okay, right? And it was,
Cool.
but the experience was really, really amazing. And
Yeah.
I learned a lot as well. Like,
Yeah.
and that was like my first real collaboration, you know,
Mhm.
to working with such a company
Yeah.
was really, really fun. And of course, like I got so anxious too, and it was, you know, and we got, I just couldn't believe it. You know, the message
Yeah.
pop up, and I usually check Discord on my phone during the day, and you just like see the little icon, and I'm like, okay, what? And like, wait, what? I need to wait. What?
Cool.
I need to sit down. What did I just read? Are they for
Yeah.
real? Right? Are they for real? And it was like really, really amazing. And I mean, I just got the chance now again to collaborate. So that was on TikTok. That was pretty cool as well for the new stuff. So
You'll have to forgive me.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do.
consume TikTok, so I don't
No,
know.
not a
Yeah,
problem, not a problem at all. We did, it was something slightly different
cool,
than before, so it was cool. It was,
cool.
but an amazing experience again, and the contacts are so nice.
Yeah,
Like
oh
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
like the people there at Paradox are so amazing, really, and
yeah.
Colossal Order as well, right? So I've never had any negative thing that happened. I don't have any negative things to
Mhm.
say because I didn't have any negative experience
Yeah,
with the contact, which was really really amazing, and yeah, so much fun, and I was so honored too, right? I'm
yeah,
so
right?
honored, and
Yeah.
it's like, me? Are you sure? You could literally have anyone, right?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
sure?
yeah.
But then I didn't ask too much. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, play it cool, play it calm.
I've done this hundreds of times, and inside I'm like, oh my God, oh my
So
God.
funny. I
Yeah,
have a follow-up question for you, if you don't mind.
please.
Do you, because you've made me think of my own experience, do you find that since doing the City Skylines TikTok stuff, has your own TikTok style changed? Like, did you learn any, like maybe like product type things in a TikTok that you apply to your own videos now or own TikToks?
I understand the question, but I don't think I do.
No, eh?
I try to basically do what works on TikTok, which can be
Yeah.
very difficult because the
Yep.
short form, it's so fast paced. Like
Yeah.
a trend today is no longer a trend tomorrow.
Yep.
A popular sound is no longer popular tomorrow. It doesn't get any more views. And like, I think my third video for the City Skylines channel was the most successful one. And like to this day, the most successful one on the channel, on the City Skylines channel,
Awesome.
is still that video.
Yeah.
And Paradox asked me as well, like, okay, what's the secret? You know what,
Yeah.
what's, how do you get? And I'm like, if I knew the secret, I wouldn't share it, but I don't know. Like, you can't,
Yeah.
it's the platform itself, it's so I don't know. I don't want to like say, oh, it's all the algorithm, but it's very specific. The platform itself is
Mhm.
very specific, and it's I find that well, to give you an answer on your question, no, I don't think I've changed anything on my own
Yeah.
channel in that regard. But yeah, of course, like I try to model what works, and
Yeah.
using some of the memes that go around there does help to get some views, some engagement, and it
Right.
shows because the algorithm starts to push that content because it resonates with more people because they do like the
Right.
trend things. But I also learned that it's possible for, like, what I do mostly are the stream highlights, funny
Yeah.
moments from stream, and I for my TikTok, I try to play hard into the game's errors without
Yes.
trying to make it like I always almost instantly when I see a little bug or a glitch in the game, I like sort of make fun of it, but then I'm like, man,
Mhm.
I love this game. I
Yeah.
always try to like when I see something, I lean heavily into it, of course, for the content, but
Yeah.
then always instantly I'm like, man, I love this game because
Yes.
I don't want to make it seem that I'm laughing at or exploiting the small little mistakes that are, you know,
Yes.
when I but most of it is my own fault because of the mods, like the flying cars or, you know,
Yeah.
so it's not really
Yep.
the game's fault, but I just like lean heavily into that. But I've noticed those videos can of course blow up, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now in the past couple of weeks, I've noticed, and I'm trying to be really consistent with uploading daily TikToks.
Nice.
Uh, in the past couple of weeks, I've noticed that tutorials, small little
Mhm.
tutorials, do really well.
Mhm.
And also, for instance, I did like an how to beautify or no, how to make smooth highway ramps, right?
Mm.
With node controller, renewal, intersection marking tool, and then the lane connector TMPE. So you made
Yep.
the off ramp from the you make it smooth, right, with the node controller, and then mark the intersection with the intersection marking tool. And that thing, this got almost got like 1 million views because
Yeah.
that also gets engagement, and people are like, wow, what
Yeah.
game, what mods, how do you do
Yeah.
that? You know, they ask all the questions, then you answer, then they follow up, and So that stuff does really, really well when you try
Mhm.
to when you make stuff pretty, when you beautify certain small portions, especially
Yeah.
with mods, because that's when people are really wanting to know more,
Yeah.
and that apparently for the engagement triggers the algorithm even more, and
Yeah.
so it pushes that content more. That's what I've learned, but I guess technically not from the time with
Right.
collaborating with Paradox. I just, when that happened and when they were like, okay, like for 3 months, and I just like, okay, I'm going to make like a different theme every month. And so I had like three basic themes.
Cool.
What like how to start. The next month was how to make money. I think was how to make
Yeah.
money in the game, and then I think just like a tips and tricks month, or
Yeah.
just like all vanilla though. I didn't
Yeah.
use any
Yeah. Yeah.
mods for that because I wanted to appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I didn't really take anything away from that, I don't think, from that
Yeah.
experience in terms of my own content, right? So I
Yeah.
still
Neat.
mostly like 80% is 85% is just basically stream highlights, stream clips, which
Yeah. Yeah.
do okay. They can blow up too, but they're okay. They're
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Very nice.
All right, so Tony, you have been in a few City Skylines collaborations, such as 5B1C by Zardis or Ladies in the City with Joy Built Cities, Cities by
Mhm.
Diana. How was that experience? Or perhaps I should first of all explain collaborations for anyone that is watching or listening that does not know how this works. A lot of these collaborations in City Skylines are a save game pass around where one player starts on a city to build certain areas, then saves and passes that save to the next player. So then they can build or can extend on that pre-built area already. And it's sort of a multiplayer mode in City Skylines, if you will.
Mhm.
So, how was your experience in those collaborations, Toadie?
Super fun. Um, I It's kind of like a two-parter. I back in my day over on Mixer, I had a buddy of mine whose name is Golf House, and we did Mix the Mayor, which was basically this same thing. So it was exactly what you've just described, but it was on stream. So I would stream it one day, he would stream it the next day, and eventually we had a gal pal join us as well, Chameleon Hidden. Uh, and so that was really fun. So that introduced me to, I guess multiplayer City Skylines. But as a huge introvert, I am the world's most introverted City Skylines player. I enjoyed the fact that even with collaborating with other people and like doing a multiplayer thing, when you had the city, you were kind of like alone in your own thoughts and building on your own and stuff. So I just immediately fell in love with that concept. Then moving forward and doing it on a bit more of a, like, I guess you would say professional level, especially when it came to doing the one with like Colossal Order Paradox Interactive. I think those were my favorite times feeling like part of the overall like City Skylines community. Each collab that I have been part of has been hosted by individuals that had a really great balance between like professional, but also laid back. If I had a question about the quote product of the city or of the video or whatever, if I had a question about that style of thing, people were always very quick to answer informatively, accurately, professionally, that kind of thing. But then when it came to things like, hey, can I build in this area? Or what do you guys think about you doing this DLC in this spot? Or style related questions, everyone in all of them gave the vibe that's like, this is a game. We have different styles and we're showing off our different styles. We're showcasing them. So do your thing. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. That is so true, actually.
Mhm.
I think it's really good that you can, even in these collaborations, do your own thing, show your
Mhm.
style, because I think that's what's interesting about these. I've also had the opportunity to be a guest builder in the 5B1C by Zardis, which was really
Yeah,
amazing. So that
yeah,
was really, really cool. And I think it's just like the first time I opened the save, I just like, I think 10 minutes, I just looked around the
yeah,
city and just like it was so cool seeing all these different styles of
Yeah.
builds and just like
Mesh.
gazing upon and like yeah, it's like they all like mesh in together, and
Yeah.
it was really really cool. I think that is really the amazing thing about these collaborations is that you
Hmm.
then have a finished product, a city
Hmm.
of multiple parts joined together as one and in different styles because each
Yeah.
player has their distinct style and their unique play style. So I think that
Hmm.
is a really cool fact about,
Hmm.
or a really cool thing about these collaborations. So, and it's really really cool that you started with like collaborations on Mixer and back in
Yeah.
the days. Really really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, truly amazing. And it's just and I also think it's just really really fun to interact with all the different participants of these
Yes.
collaborations and
Yeah.
get to know even more people because I think that's mentioned I've mentioned it a couple of times the City Skylines community as a whole and like everyone
Hmm.
players modders asset creators is just top notch. I think it's just like it's just amazing. Like you know,
Hmm.
everyone says their community is the best, but I do think City Skylines does have the
True.
best community.
Yeah. And as an introvert and as someone who is so incredibly introverted, I genuinely don't think I would know so many folks if I hadn't been invited to part of these. So for the folks who have reached out to me and invited me, golly, thank you. Because yeah, I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that on my own. But I love being part of it. I just that initial outreach is so difficult for me. So it's rad.
Yeah,
I'm saying rad a lot today.
I like it. I like it. The raddest podcast. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, Tony, is there anything that you actually struggle with in the game?
Yeah. Immediately, it's interchanges. Boy, howdy, interchanges. I don't understand why they have to be so difficult. I don't understand why my brain can't just perfectly process, okay, from this south position, I need to be able to go left, straight, and right. And this is the smoothest way to accomplish that. My brain just isn't like wired for it. Even pulling up photos of a real interchange like Google Maps or screenshots of someone's in game version, I struggle to recreate them effectively. So I turn off the camera, I install one of Yumble's interchanges and put it in my game, and then I uninstall it, and then no one will ever know. Can't do interchanges.
I get that.
They're the worst.
I get that. I can even and you described it so perfectly. It's like my
Yeah.
brain can't comprehend. Wait, you have to go left, right, straight, but
Yeah.
also like wait, there's a how what does this twist here do? Because I also try to look at real life interchanges. I look at the
Hmm.
pictures and it's like wait, but what does this and then I have to like figure it out for like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my lord. It's really something that I also struggle. And
Yeah.
I like when I do these videos, I only like how to build an interchange. I basically only do a trumpet interchange or I
Mhm.
do a partial cloverleaf, the parclo,
Mhm.
because those are the two that I can actually do.
Perfect.
I did manage to pull off a diverging diamond interchange on
Oh.
console back in the day, live stream, but that was only because I think there were like three people helping me with the
Yeah.
lanes
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and that was difficult because it was on console vanilla. But yeah, I
Yeah.
totally understand that.
Yeah.
If anything, it is interchanges, but
Mhm.
because of the fact that I can't I can't wrap my brain around the directions that I need to have traffic go,
Yep.
or like not figure out the directions, but figure out how to make them go in all the different directions
Yeah.
without it being like just a bunch of roads spaghetti on there and then
Yeah.
just even still forgetting slip lanes and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, then, like, you think you have it, and you're all excited because you've done it off stream so that you can focus and like genuinely haven't cheated or anything, and you've got this beautiful interchange, and you post a screenshot of it in your Discord, and then your community tells you none of them can turn left, you goob, and you're like, man, I had it. Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I had actually see I'm mentioning the Parklow, and I completely forgot both ramps from either side, and I made a video about it on YouTube,
Oh
and
no!
I kid you not, that video for my for my standards got so many views,
Yeah, I'm sure the
and
engagement was really high, right?
I got one comment that said, "What is this? Wait, I thought you said in the video you were going to do a Parklow interchange, but
Yeah,
this and this and this." And what are you going to do? If you're going to fall, you
yeah,
got to fall big. I pinned the comment, I thanked the person, and I made a
yeah.
follow-up video
No, perfect.
highlighting the comment saying, "Guess
Yeah,
what? I forgot." So here we
yeah,
go. Now it
yeah.
works perfectly, right?
Love that.
So, oh my God. And I was like, how can this video, I don't know if it was all the players or like people just having a good time with like, wait a minute, that's not the thing that he said he's going to do.
Yeah.
But that video got so many views,
Mhm.
and I'm like for me usually I'm glad if I get like between like 2 to 500 views per video. That's a good video for me, right?
Mhm.
And that one, I think it's at like almost 2,000 now, so it was like just
Perfect.
I was like,
So audience, if you're listening, if you're not on YouTube, go to youtube.com/, at Flyvox and go watch his perfect Parklow interchange, and, just let him know how well he did in the comments.
thank you,
Thanks.
yes.
Like and subscribe while you're there.
I'd very much appreciate that. But I was like, and I was like super happy, right? I saw the
Mhm.
analytics. I was like, oh wow. And then I was like, hey, I got a comment, nice.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
reading the comment, and instantly that field. You open the comments, you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you read, and you realize, and you're like, did I forget? And you rewatch the video, and you're like, hot dog, this person is
Yeah.
right. I did
Yeah.
forget two, not just one, but two slip lanes leading.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God. It was a functioning interchange, but still, it would have like backed up for miles if I hadn't fixed it. So,
Mhm. Just demonstrates, like, that I don't know. I mean, I know that this sounds like I'm just putting a positive spin on it, but hearkening back to folks who can't like don't know how to page up or whatever, how to elevate the road or how to make a curved road. It does just demonstrate that even as you grow to be more quote advanced, there are things that are like way out of our scope. For me, like interchanges are just completely out of my scope. And then you get Fly, who's maybe the next level up or down, whichever way you would put it, who's got a few that he can do. You know, there's a huge variety to us, to all of our abilities, and that's not a bad thing. Don't fret about it. That's my message for the day, I guess.
I like that. That's a good message. I really like it. Toady, is there anything that you dislike about the game? I know some people, they hate on
Hmm.
Chirper. I don't know why, but
I love my little old lady chirper. She's great. He usually use the cool guy hat one, right? Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's, I think mostly because I forget.
No.
I tried to
Okay.
go, I tried to go with the newest ones because they all
Oh,
have
makes sense.
the new content always brings out the newest ones.
Okay.
I think now I
Okay.
got one with it like a traffic cone on its head or something. So
Nice.
it looks really
Love that.
cool.
Classic. Um, Things I dislike about City Skylines. Within the actual game itself, like within the gameplay and whatever, it is genuinely difficult to think about something. Honestly, so I think this is I really struggle with like saying negative things. I struggle to get them out. I'm Canadian, it's not in our vocabulary. But if I had to attach the word dislike to something about City Skylines, it would probably actually be related to modding and about how the modding community can feel a little exclusory at times. Um, Within the actual gameplay, I mean, everybody knows, okay, easy one. Everyone knows that the traffic AI can be a little bit more lovely. But that's an easy target. There's like nitpicky things here and there. Just recently, I found out that in the new Railroads of Japan CCP section, the props come before the actual buildings, and that's obnoxious. But like, that's it. I just love the darn game. I love it so much.
I can concur. There's just like little things, little
Just yeah,
nuances.
yeah.
If I were to say something, and I said that before, of course, how the slopes are, how the sometimes the
Mm,
ragged edges are when buildings spawn in, when you place a road, vanilla,
yeah,
when you place
yeah,
a road, um, the yeah, that whole with the hilly maps, and like if there's a slight hill, it makes this weird edge around a
yeah.
around a road or around the building that spawns in. That's something that I still to this day also like. I'm not too fond of. I I struggle with these like ragged edges a bit, so I just like try to
Hmm.
hide them up. There's a lot of options. You got the vegetation tab,
Yeah,
not the vegetation tab, but the vegetations in the landscaping
yeah,
tab. So you can use that and rocks and bushes, trees, of course, to hide these impurities. So yeah, but that's maybe something. But
yeah.
other
What
than
would
that,
the alternative be to that? How should that work? Is always my question for that one, because I've heard that as well, and I kind of agree. It's sort of annoying. But like, do we want the game to landscape like more around it so that it's smoother, I guess? Is that our solution?
fair, fair. How would you
I
fix it?
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's a fair counterpoint, fair counter question, because it's easy. It's always easy, not just in terms of the game, City Skylines. It's always easy to say stuff like, "Oh, I don't like this and that." Well,
Mhm.
how should it be
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
And that's actually an interesting point. I've not given it too much thought. Maybe I don't know. Instantly, there could be some vegetation on the edges to cover that up
Yeah.
or
No,
something.
yeah, you've made me
We'll
think, like,
see.
maybe just having the cliff face itself look nicer is the answer, because it
Maybe,
does kinda
yeah,
look a
yeah,
little
yeah,
whack.
yeah. We'll
Um,
see what happens in
yes.
cities too
Yeah.
with landscaping in general, with these edges,
Mhm.
if we still have them, right? If we still have
Yeah,
them.
true.
Nobody knows. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just
Yeah.
as excited as everyone at this point.
Mhm.
Toady, we've been recording for over an hour and a half.
Good.
And I have
Me too.
one more question for you.
Okay.
Are there any quick tips that you could give to new players?
Yeah, of course. Um, do everything that you can not to compare yourself to others, I think, if you're a new player. Because a lot of us players like to show off our cities in Discord, on YouTube, Twitch streams, Reddit, everywhere. And we are proud of what we've accomplished, right? And I think, we can be. But if I were brand spanking new to the game, seeing these astounding creations from others and not being able to immediately recreate them myself would maybe help me feel a little bit down on myself. And I've seen comments from community members that can like reflect that sort of thing. But my friends, comparison is the thief of joy, and this is a video game, and it's meant to spark joy. If you enjoy playing vanilla, or if you enjoy playing with mods that people say don't play with, or if you are having fun in your city that has a 58% traffic flow, um, rock it and enjoy it. Don't compare yourself to other people because you're playing a video game to have fun. And other people should not steal that from you, I think is my tip. If you want actual gameplay tips, please go to youtube.com/at Flyvox and he'll get you sorted.
Thank you so much. That's really amazing. I have nothing to add to that tip actually that you gave, not about my channel, but
I think it's
that
really
is
important because it's a video game.
yeah,
You
100%.
know?
It really is, and that is something we should not forget. No one
Yeah.
should forget.
Yeah.
But that's going to be it for the show, Toadie. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you for accepting
Thank
my
you.
invitation. I really appreciate it. I had lots of fun
Good.
talking with you, chatting with you about our beloved city building simulation. Thank you so much. Where can we find you? What is the best place? You're on Discord, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Reddit, speedrun.com. You are basically everywhere where you can find City Skylines,
I'm
correct?
everywhere. Yeah, I'm everywhere, and I'm ToadieZzz. Instagram, I
ToadieZzz.
think, is the only one that was missing from there, but come find me on YouTube. It's the most fun.
We will link everything in the description of this YouTube video down below. So everyone out there, thank you so much for watching, for listening. I really, really appreciate it. Toadie, once again, thank you so much.
Thank
Everyone out
you.
there, have a great rest of your day. Please stay safe. Bye.